Welcome back, everyone. Let's go ahead and talk about the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus and compare it to the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. Now, what I can tell you at the end of the day is that if you have a Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, going to the S21 Plus is probably the better idea, but there are still some advantages for owning a Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus over the S21 Plus. There's not a whole lot, but there are a few. Now, if you want to pick up some of the S21 Pluses as well as some of my other recommendations, I'll leave both these phones linked down below. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, surprisingly, when I was feeling these things and kind of looking at them, they kind of look like the same size. Even though the S21 Plus has a way bigger display, they kind of have the same thing going on, which is pretty crazy. There's obviously a lot more bezel on the S8 Plus. Now, on the front of the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, you actually have a 6.2-inch Super AMOLED display, which is funny because it's technically the same size as the S21. So this one has a way bigger display, and it's 1440p. Overall, I think a really good. I don't know why I keep opening the camera. Overall, a really good, screen for sure. Now, no fingerprint sensor on the display, no 120 hertz, but it's still a really good panel. It curves to the side. There's a little bit of bezel on the top and bottom, but otherwise, this is a very solid panel for sure. With the Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus, on the other hand, S21 Plus has that 6.7-inch dynamic AMOLED display, and this for sure is a really good asset for it. I think at the end of the day, this panel was a killer panel. I mean, it still is 120 hertz panel. I mean, fingerprint sensor in the display, and this is for sure at the end of the day, one of the best features of it. I think even though it has a lower resolution, it isn't an insanely big difference, and I would have preferred it if it had a little bit of like a 1440p panel like the S20, S21 Ultra, or even as the S21 Plus, but it is what it is. There's nothing we can really do about it. So in terms of the panels, that pretty much covers it up. USB Type-C ports on the bottom. The Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus has a headphone jack. In terms of the thinness and thickness, you can kind of see the same thing. I think the S21 Plus is a little bit thicker, but almost the same thing. Doesn't really feel that big of a difference. And on the back, you have a frosted glass back on the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus, or on the S8 Plus, you have that standard glass back. I actually do think the frosted back is one of my favorite things on the S21 Plus. The S8 Plus having that standard glass back still feels extremely premium. The S21 Plus definitely feels a little bit heavier for sure, but even when you ripple, like look at the ripple effect on the S8 Plus, it looks so nice. But I like the S21 Plus for sure. Single camera setup on the S8 Plus, triple camera setup here, fingerprint sensor on the S8 Plus, but you also have a micro SD card slot on the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, which is another huge advantage of this device. The Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus does not have anything like that, which is very sad. So in terms of the outside, I mean, I'll definitely say the S21 Plus is the more premium device. It has more premium features, but the Galaxy S8 Plus has still some killer features. 1440p panel, micro SD card slot, headphone jack. That's some really good stuff. Now, I think this is probably the number one reason and probably the biggest difference, as I stated before in my other videos, why you should go from a Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus to the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus. If you're in the market and if you don't have either one of these and you think to yourself, oh, I'll just get an S8 Plus, it's the same phone, this is the number one difference. The Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus is pretty much outdated with software. It stopped at One UI 1, so this thing got Android 9, and that's it. It's not getting any more versions of software, where this thing is just starting off with Android 11. So hardware-wise, when I feel both phones in the hand, they feel extremely premium, and they feel kind of about the same. I don't really see to myself that like, wow, the S8 Plus can't handle the software that the S21 Plus can. Even internally, I feel like the S21 Plus can still easily do it, but that's not really the case. The Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus is pretty much outdated when it comes down to software, which is sad because I still feel like this phone could have supported more software. So what does this mean? This basically means that for Android 12, Android 13, Android 14, this phone should probably theoretically still support it, where the S8 Plus is not going to be getting those features. Now, is it the end of the world? Probably not, and it's sadder than anything else because it still feels like such a premium phone. It still feels like anything I throw at this phone will be able to handle it. Unfortunately, that's not the case here. So at the end of the day, the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus is done with software, where on the other hand, a phone like the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus is just getting started. This phone just got software updates. It probably hasn't even gotten its. I think there is an update out for it that I still haven't even updated it to. So at the end of the day, this device is going to be able to handle so many more software versions than the Galaxy S8 Plus, and that in and of itself is probably the number one reason why I would go upgrade from a Galaxy S8 Plus to the S21 Plus for sure. There's also a pretty big difference in the battery life. The Galaxy S8 Plus had a 3800 mAh battery. The Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus has a 4800 mAh battery. You have wireless charging on both, but reverse wireless charging on the S21 Plus. So that in and of itself is a pretty big difference in and of itself, and in my opinion, it's probably the biggest difference for sure. So in terms of that, that pretty much covers it up. Now let's go ahead and do a speed comparison between both these phones. In terms of the specs though, the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus actually had that Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 chipset with 4 gigabytes of RAM and then 6 gigs of RAM on that top tier model. This specific model had 4 gigs of RAM actually, with the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 chipset inside of it with 8 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one is the faster phone between both of these. Okay, let me go and clear all the apps in the background. The S21 Plus is done. Let's do the S8 Plus. Okay, let's get started. Phone call is 3, 2, 1. And you can see the S21 Plus, I think, was the faster one there, hopping out of there. Messages 3, 2, 1. And again, the S21 Plus just overall faster for sure. Hopping out of here, let's do camera 3, 2, 1. And it's kind of hard to tell. I don't really know. I would assume the S21 Plus is faster. Play Store 3, 2, 1. Look at the S21 Plus. I mean, this device is so fast. We did obviously get into a pop-up on the S8 Plus, but regardless, the S21 Plus is going to be faster probably. Now, as always, I have a bunch of these third-party apps that we can go ahead and get into. They're a little bit weird, so we're going to have to do it this way. Let's do Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. Now, let's hope we don't get any crazy pop-ups that I was getting on my S9 Plus. And so far, so good, it looks like. And one of them has the volume on. I think it's the S8 Plus. But you can see they kind of actually did around the same time. There really wasn't that big of a difference, surprisingly. Getting into the game, I mean, there's some really annoying sounds between both of them. And I think it is the S21 Plus. But in terms of the gameplay, it kind of looked about the same there. Hopping out of this one, let's go into the next one, which I guess is, Snake versus Blocks. 3, 2, 1. And you can see the S21 Plus was way faster. The Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus a little bit behind. Not like an insane difference, but for sure that was a pretty noticeable difference at the end of the day. Getting into some gameplay as always, about the same thing. Not a ginormous difference by any means. Hopping into the next app, let's go ahead and do Stack. 3, 2, 1. And the S21 Plus was able to get that way faster. That is so much of a better experience. And you can see the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus was a little bit slower for sure. Let's go ahead and get into some gameplay here. Let's go ahead and cancel out of this one. And even into this, I mean, it was pretty much a way smoother experience on the S21 Plus. Get into some gameplay, and let's see if they stutter in either area. They both kind of have the same thing going on. And yeah, I really don't think that one of them is going to stutter more than the other one here. Hopping out of this one, let's go into Google Chrome 3, 2, 1. And even in just the little animation speed seems faster on the Galaxy S8 Plus for sure. Let me go ahead and try something like the Galaxy Store. 3, 2, 1. And again, the animation speed did seem so much faster on the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus, but I'll still say the S8 Plus is doing a pretty good job. I wasn't expecting this device to do so well. Gallery, 3, 2, 1. And even then, the S21 Plus was faster by a little bit, but I honestly was expecting a bigger difference between these two. Clock, 3, 2, 1. Again, the S21 Plus slightly faster there. Let's go into something like settings, I guess. 3, 2, 1. And again, the S21 Plus is faster there. Hopping out of this one, let's go into, I guess we can end it off with some random app. We can go and try to do something like, we'll just do calendar, 3, 2, 1. And again, to even get into that is faster on the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus. So what I can tell you at the end of the day is that for sure the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus is the faster phone. That's kind of what I was saying over and over again. But I'm actually still surprised how good of a job the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus was doing. I honestly was expecting a bigger difference between these two, and I really didn't see it. I really saw almost the same type of performance on both. So that pretty much covers up the speed comparison. Let's go and hit on the cameras. Now on the back, like I stated before, the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus has a single wide-angle lens, where the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus has that triple camera setup, a wide-angle lens, telephoto lens, and an ultra-wide sensor. And as I showcased before, I mean, the UIs are pretty much going to be around the same thing. You're going to have, be able to take camera photos and videos and all that good stuff. But I think at the end of the day, the bigger differences are the video quality, the camera lenses, and the camera lenses on the front. Settings-wise, the S8 Plus still has surprisingly a pretty good amount of settings within it, but the S21 Plus is definitely going to win here. The Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, as I mentioned before, this phone had a really good camera setup when it first came out, but you can only do 4K at 30 on the back camera, which is still probably good enough for a lot of people, but it is is a little bit of a disappointment. You can only do 1440p on the front camera as well, so another kind of minor thing that may annoy some people. It kind of annoys me too, but I think at the end of the day, this quality of this lens is still pretty decent. You can do, like I said, a good amount of things with this camera. There's a lot of settings to put into this camera too, so I wouldn't really freak out about it too much, but I think the capability for sure goes down to the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus. I mean, this camera lens is probably going to go down as being one of the best camera lenses this year. This phone is going to have an insane amount of capability. I mean, 8K capability on the back, first of all, that is a crazy type of features that you have on the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus. 4K at 60 on the front camera as well. I mean, these are some really awesome features that you have on this type of phone. It's definitely not perfect, but it's not far off. Like, this device still has a lot of capability when it comes down to that. So in terms of the camera setup, for sure, the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus definitely wins in terms of the feature set that it has behind it. So to kind of sum up this video and to answer the question, which one should you pick up? Should you go and buy an S21 Plus over an S8 Plus? Should you buy an S8 Plus over the S20 Plus? Should you upgrade between these two phones? This is pretty much what I'll tell you. If you currently have something like a Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, you're probably thinking to yourself that you're in a weird position, mostly because the hardware is sometimes even better than the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus. I mean, micro SD card slot support, the headphone jack. Some people may look at this phone and feel like it's better, but that isn't necessarily the case. You are getting an outdated device when you pick up this phone, unfortunately. The performance-wise is probably something that really shocked me. I mean, the performance of this phone is still up there, but unfortunately, this device's hardware just isn't that capable. You are getting still a beautiful phone, curved panel which looks really good, micro SD card slot support, beautiful panel as I stated before, not like a super crazy outdated version of software, but sooner than later it's going to get there. Great camera setup on the front and back for the most part, but it's still miles behind the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus, and overall a really decent performing phone for the price tag. But the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus though is giving you a much better device, and it's more expensive, but it's also going to last you much longer. I would be totally behind you going from a Galaxy S8 Plus to the S21 Plus. I mean, this device is miles above this device for sure. I mean, you're getting a much better display, better looking, cameras for sure, more capability, faster performance, longer software support. I mean, the list goes on and on, reverse wireless charging, but in the hand, they feel so similar that it's so funny to me, because when I feel both devices, I don't feel like I'm holding old phones on either one of these, and that's why it's so weird and so sad, because the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus's main disadvantage is the software. The battery life isn't even that crazy, but the software is the bigger difference, and that's where the S21 Plus for now is going to be the better winner, and you're going to be getting probably a much better life cycle from this device on the S21 Plus than on the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, unfortunately. Actually, it's pretty fortunate though, because you can go upgrade from an S8 Plus to the S21 Plus and have a really good phone still. So that's pretty much how I see it. That's pretty much what I would recommend. If you guys have any other questions, or if you want to pick up, phones that I would recommend this year, including this one, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.